checking the forecast. Things looking crazy, a storm on the horizon. The pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Can we get this show on the road, guys? I think we shall, guys. This is Emergency Management Associates, and we are on the air with you right now, every day, Monday through Friday, sometime after 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, guys. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're glad to be here. Again, we're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Katy Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Guys, we have a full show for you. Get ready to rock. We're ready to go, guys. Here we go. Now, number one, okay, during the weekend, we had a CNN anchor, a Communist News Network anchor, Don Lemon. He took a group of protesters in Minneapolis and raided a church. Don Lemon from CNN took a group of protesters to a church, a Baptist church in Minneapolis, and raided the church. Now, you need to know this. The Baptist preacher is part-time preacher, but he also works as an investigator and Homeland Security, Immigration's Customs Enforcement supervisor in Minneapolis. They raided his church. Watch this. Now, what happened here? When protesters raided the church, they interrupted the church service and people from the church service got up and left. Okay? The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division is investigating the anti-immigration customs enforcement protesters. Okay? The DOJ Civil Rights Division is investigating the protesters for storming a church in the middle of the service. That was illegal. Completely illegal. Okay? They did it because Don Lemon, or Lemon as he goes by, brought them in and protested the church. On Sunday, yesterday, anti-ICE agitators stormed a church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, believing that they were interrupting this preacher. Okay? The violent protest was disrupted by activists from the Racial Justice Network, with disgraced CNN anchor Don Lemon attending the protest. Not only was he attending the protest, ladies and gentlemen, he led it. Don Lemon led the protest. Incredible what he did.
Happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry.
Okay? Lemon spoke to one of the BLM protesters at the church, with her claiming that the church was harboring someone directing ICE agents. The church wasn't harboring anybody. The church was not harboring anyone. Don Lemon was trying to make it look like the church was protecting him. They were not. The church was being led by the pastor who works for Immigration Customs Enforcement. The protesters were led by Don Lemon, broke into the church, interrupted his service, and people who were attending his church got up and left. That's what happened. Okay? Unfortunately, Don Lemon and the protesters are now under indictment. They're going to be held responsible. They're going to be held responsible, guys. This is unreal. It should never have happened. Never happened. Now, Black Lives Matter also got involved. Okay? They said this cannot be a house of God while harboring someone directing ICE agents to wreak havoc on our community. Black Lives Matter is also involved here. That's unfortunate. Remember last time when Black Lives Matter got involved? All heck broke loose. All heck broke loose. They stormed the streets of Minneapolis. They got a police officer involved in that shooting, and they prosecuted him illegally. Illegally. He should never have been prosecuted. He did not do anything wrong because of the Black Lives Matter people. They put him in jail. They put him in jail. They erected a statue in Minneapolis to honor him. But guess what? That criminal that they erected the statue in honor of was a criminal, a 3-time felon. He killed people, was strung out on drugs, should never have been doing what he did. Right before he was arrested and put in handcuffs and later died, he died because he was high on drugs. Before he went there, he robbed a store. That's a felony. He robbed that store at gunpoint. That was a felony. He continued to process that felony by going after the cop, grabbing his gun, and the cop knelt on his back of his neck. The guy would not have died had it not been for him being strung out on drugs. Black Lives Matter is again involved here. Totally involved here. Okay? They're making matters worse. Not only are the protests illegal, but now Black Lives Matter is also involved. Let's go over to Fox News here.
talking about what happened at this church in St. Paul. This shows the degree to which these protests have expanded in Minneapolis, and this particular incident is now triggering a federal investigation. A group of protesters stormed and disrupted a Sunday church service because of one of the pastor's possible connections to ICE. The U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights announced there would be a federal probe over this, writing this on X. The Civil Rights Division is investigating the potential violations of the Federal FACE Act by these people, desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. The White House, meantime, is considering a federal troop deployment to Minnesota with 1,500 troops now on standby. President Trump has raised the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act if the violent protests there continue, and that drew a swift rebuke from the mayor of Minneapolis.
This act was clearly designed to intimidate the people of Minneapolis, and here's...
Okay, the act was not designed to intimidate anyone, including the people of Minneapolis. Mayor Fry here and Governor Idiot Tampon Tim are also under indictment. A grand jury has been assembled, and they're going to indict Tampon Tim and Mayor Fry here for doing what they've done. Conducting protests and inciting riots and inciting violence. That is exactly what these two people have done. Tampon Tim, the governor, and Mayor Frey, Jacob Frey is his name, or Fry, they've incited violence and they have incited these rioters go forward. They're going to be arrested. They're going to be jailed, and they're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That's what's going to happen within the next few days to a week. Meantime, these protests are ongoing, and they're getting more violent. More and more violent. Last week, you saw Renee Good killed, and then 2 days later, Idiot gets involved again. These involved were Venezuelan Tren de Aragua immigrants, illegally here in the United States. ICE gets involved and goes to arrest them. All of a sudden, one of them is struggling with ICE on the ground. Two other Venezuelan Tren de Aragua idiots get involved, bring a shovel and a broomstick and start assaulting the federal officer who is now fighting for his life. The officer's right now fighting for his life. All three of these Venezuelan Tren de Aragua immigrants are now in federal custody. They're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for assaulting federal law enforcement. Incredible what these people are getting away with. Meantime, during this entire time over in Portland, Oregon, two other Tren de Aragua gang members, also illegal immigrants, get chased by Immigration Customs Enforcement. They are pulled over and then they attempt to assault immigration, and immigration officers shot both of them, put them in the hospital. They are now also under arrest and in federal custody. Meantime, through all this in Portland, the mayor, the crazy mayor of Portland, Oregon, the crazy police chief get involved. What happens? The mayor and the police chief stick their foot in their mouths. The governor also gets involved and sticks her foot in her mouth. They try to condemn ICE officers. They say ICE officers were out of line, which they were not. ICE officers were enforcing the law according to regulations, according to the law. But the governor of Oregon, the mayor of Portland, Oregon, and the police chief, who is under indictment, going to be under indictment very shortly, because he's not enforcing the law. He's going along with politics. He's going to be soon labeled the worst police chief here in the United States. He's not doing anything but going along with political beliefs. He's not attempting to try to stop protesters. He's not attempting to try to stop loss of life. He's not attempting to do anything but go along with politics. All three of these politicians, from the police chief, the mayor, and the governor, are also going to go to jail at some point in time. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. As a result, they allow these idiots in their cities and states, putting them as sanctuary cities and states, putting police, law enforcement, and other citizens under very stressful harm. It's ongoing. It doesn't stop. California's going through the same darn thing. The same darn thing. I'll talk about California in a minute. Let's go over to Lumberjack Live here. I've got a clip from Lumberjack Live here. You need to see this as well.
Oh, I can put my ears.
Well, anti-ICE protesters, get this, storming a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, disrupting services to confront the pastor who they allege is working with ICE. And the DOJ says enough is enough. AG Pam Bondi, quote, says this: attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with the full force of federal law. If state leaders refuse to act responsibly to prevent lawlessness, the DOJ will remain mobilized to prosecute federal crimes and ensure that the rule of law prevails. DOJ Senior Advisor Alina Habba joins us now. Your reaction to
pause that for a second, Rebecca.
The AG has said.
Okay, so we're going to get back here to Alina Habba, but understand this: do we have the right screen up? There we go. With this, you heard Pam Bondi's statement, but that footage, if you haven't seen that, that's from a church in St. Paul, and it's these protesters storming. This is where Don Lemon, if you didn't watch my last video, you need to, because Don Lemon is cooked. Okay, he's trying to say one thing, but another thing is happening. This is after Tim Walz said that the Trump administration was going to raid midnight mass and all of this. So as you watch that video, understand that. So we're talking about not only FACE Act charges, but also the AK Act charges. Let's go back to that video, Rebecca.
So somebody accidentally chose the wrong Medicare plan, and maybe now they realize, they can't go.
That is, we're going to investigate this. Is that the protesters, or is that the mayor and governor for inciting?
That's everybody. That's everybody. The FACE Act is a longstanding federal statute that prohibits force, threats, obstruction, any kind of interference with a religious place of worship. And it carries criminal penalties and violations. And what the Attorney General is saying is the truth. She will come down hard. The Department of Justice will come down hard. Our Civil Rights Division will come down hard on anybody who tries to impede or intimidate somebody in a place of worship, or a police officer or an ICE officer. It's just not going to happen in this administration. And Pam is making that very clear.
So the mayor comes out.
All right, you pause that, Rebecca. So here's the thing, folks. And I just go, this is so funny. I got to read some of these comments. What's going on here? Kitties Never Die said, Lamont being prosecuted under the statute originally for the KKK would be hilarious. I mean, give Kitties Never Die a hand clap, because that's a good one. Spooky Cat said he's getting a new boyfriend. This is so let's go like this, Rebecca. Let's go to the next one I want to go to. Maybe we should just jump ahead here. Did we have next in here?
Okay, I think I'll stop right there. Lumberjack Live, guys, go over his last video, which is this one. After this program is over, go over to his video and watch it. It's very, very informative. He's making some great points here. Okay? Great points. Now I want to go from the politics that's going on. They're putting lives in danger. not just in Minneapolis, not just in Portland, but over in Florida, South and North Carolina, Georgia, going up into Virginia, Washington, D.C., Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine, into Canada. All this stuff's coming to a head, guys. Everybody lives in these areas all over the United States and Canada. Your lives are in danger. That's why we're talking about this. This has gone into an emergency situation. All of us need to be very much aware of what's going on. All of our lives could be in danger. We need to protect ourselves. We need to do what we can to protect ourselves, guys. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Now, give me just a second. I want to check something. Hold on a second. Okay, I just took somebody off that won't be back on this channel again. He was harassing Neil Johnson, and I won't tolerate it. I won't tolerate it. You can harass me, I'll take you off as well. You harass anybody in my program, in the chat, you're also going to get beat up. Okay? I'm not going to beat you up vigorously about the head and shoulders, but I will report you and take you off the air. You're not going to come to this channel and take me down at all. I control this. This is my house. This is my house. My house, my rules. Period. Period. Okay? That's the truth. Okay? Don't try to come into my house and try to tell me what to do or beat me up, because it's not going to happen. Okay? I talk about what I do on this program because it's important. I'm trying to save lives here. Your lives, your family's life, and my life as well. Okay? I also go to church. What are these protesters going to do? Come to my church and try to interrupt my church because I'm there? Well, guess what? There are at least a half dozen other law enforcement personnel at my church. You come into my church, you're going to get the results of law enforcement there. You get thrown out, you may be arrested. Don't do it. Don't go into a house of worship and do anything. Don't go into a house of worship and try to cause problems anywhere, whether it's my church or anybody else's, a Baptist church, a Lutheran church, whatever it might be. Don't do it. Number one, it's against the law. Number two, we're not going to allow you to do it. Period. You're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail, guys. I guarantee it. I cut and pick and guarantee it. Now, I want to talk about solar flares. I want to talk about earthquakes. Let's get into that right now, okay? Yesterday afternoon, we had a strong CME launch off the sun. I'm going to show you that CME right now, okay? Huge solar flare, an X-class 1.9. An X-class 1.9 solar flare. Watch this. I don't have any music to back it up. Nothing, but I don't want it to happen either because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Look where this solar flare launches off of. AR 4341. That same solar flare that 3 days ago launched off a M-class flare that hit the Earth from a side glance. Hit the Earth from a sideways glance. This time, because of our Earth's rotation, that solar flare launched from a sunspot 4341 that is now full Earth facing. It launched an X-class 1.9 solar flare, which is not the worst solar flare that's possible. It is a dangerous solar flare, and I want to tell you this. It has reached Earth already. It also reached Earth early. That solar flare reached the Earth early. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. I want to point out some things with this solar flare. Watch this. Watch the flare as it's moving. Look at that. This is called a halo flare. A halo flare, where part of the filament goes back down towards the sun. Part of the filament reaches back towards the sun here. Let me back it up again. Watch this. It's called a halo flare. A halo flare. Look at that. Part of the filament reaches back and falls back towards the sun. It's like rain. It's like rain. Okay? That's what happened yesterday. Now, with that happening, something else also happened. The plasma radiation reached out towards the Earth early. Early. It was not supposed to reach the Earth between now and tomorrow. It reached the Earth early. Okay? As a result, I'm going to tell you this, give you this information right now. Please pay attention. You might also want to write this down. Again, this was a strong X-class 1.9 solar flare. It was first observed at 1:08 p.m. Eastern Time, 18:08 UTC, which was 5 hours before that happened here in the Eastern Time Zone. 1:08 p.m. Eastern Time, 18:08 UTC. That solar flare was associated with a type 2 radio emission. A type 2 radio emission, meaning because of that solar flare, that solar radiation, the X-class X-ray radiation reached the Earth and interfered with radio emissions. Interfered with ham radio, interfered with police, fire department, and paramedic, and other high-frequency radio transmissions. Okay? It reached and interfered with 10 cm radio bursts lasting 122 minutes. 2 hours. 2 hours. This flare appears as a full halo signature, meaning parts of the filament of that solar flare fell back on the sun. Proton solar flare levels. Proton radiation streamed back past the Earth and were creeping higher and higher, and a minor S1 radiation solar storm was put in effect. Now it's got up to a 5. S5 solar storm. G5 solar storm. Blacked out HF high frequency radio transmissions through the polar regions of the Earth and navigation position errors, meaning GPS errors, all around the Earth. And also satellite effects were degraded as well. Satellite imaging was degraded from satellites to the Earth. We may also see satellite interference, and maybe even satellites falling out of space. The orbits degraded and falling out of space back to the Earth. Okay? What you might see individually here, what each one of us might be seeing here individually, is if you have devices such as cell phones, such as tablets, okay? Please pay attention. Your device may have memory problems. Because of this solar flare, your device may have memory problems here. Okay? This solar flare also poses a radiation risk to astronauts that might be on what they call extravehicular activity, an EVA outside the space stations. Okay? Fortunately, there are no EVAs scheduled during this time period. Previously, NASA and Roscosmos had a EVA scheduled, but they canceled it. They canceled it until further notice. The astronauts in space on board the space stations. The astronauts on board the space stations have part of the space station that is impervious to solar radiation. So the astronauts are completely protected in space. Okay? Also, if you are flying, if any of you are in a commercial airliner, you are also at risk from radiation. High latitude, high altitude aircraft passengers might be at risk from radiation poisoning. Be advised, look out, watch yourselves. Okay? Now this coronal mass ejection was anticipated. They knew it was going to happen because this solar spot was going to happen. They knew it when it came around to the front of the sun as the Earth embraced it. They knew it was going to happen at some point in time. It did. But this CME arrived earlier than expected. Okay? A geomagnetic sudden impulse measuring 97 NT was detected at 1921 hours, which was 7:20 p.m. UTC, 14:20 hours, 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time yesterday afternoon. It lasted for 2 hours. 2 hours. The solar wind speed data has been compromised. The solar wind speed data has been compromised because the high proton radiation level that was detected coming out from the sun. Meaning the satellite data that was going to give us radiation levels has been compromised. Okay? However, the BC component of the interplanetary magnetic field is shifting widely between sharply north and south. Plasma radiation density saw a 9-point increase. A 9-point increase as well. The severe G4 geomagnetic storm threshold was quickly reached at 1938 UTC, 2:38 p.m. yesterday afternoon, Eastern Time. Aurora sky watchers should be on alert once it becomes dark outside. If you live at high latitude levels, meaning Canada, the upper northern tier of the United States, also over in Europe, Spain, France, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Russia. If you live at high latitudes, be aware that you may see high increased aurora potential. Now, I've also been told that the auroras might reach down even as far south as Arizona here in the United States, meaning even down, possibly even in Africa, you may see auroras. Okay? Even as far south as Africa, you might see auroras here. Be alert. Just before the arrival of the CME, proton levels swelled past severe radiation storm thresholds. Proton radiation swelled past severe radiation storm thresholds. This is the first time this has happened in the last 3 years, since October 2023. Before I came on the air, I spoke with Mark Wages. I got permission from him, and we're going to try, Mark and I are going to try to have him on our program here in the next few days. I'm going to try to schedule it. I'm going to try to call him, and we'll get hold of him again. We're going to bring him on the air with us. I got permission from him to show this part of his program that he got on. He left the air right before I came on this program this afternoon. Watch this.
Anyway, thank you. So it gets up here to S4, right? I told you guys about these radiation storms, and these radiation storms are, are pretty much not even, they're space weather news, and that's it, right? Until they get to about a level 3. Now, this was trending upwards when I was making a thumbnail for this, and thank God it's trending back down. And I'm going to tell you why this is trending back down. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. Well, thank you, Kay, for the 5 gifted memberships. That's awesome. Oh, gosh, you guys. Wow. Thank you so much. And prayers for you, okay? You can tell everybody in the chat if you want. I'm not going to say it unless you want me to. I'm not sure how private you want that kept or whatever, but Kay's been going through some stuff I've been praying for it, and anybody that knows her has also. So, anyway. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to, focus, okay? I'm actually going to take my phone, and I'm going to flip it over here to the other side so I can't see the chat for a second. All right? So, anyway, this is speed only, okay? Sun's off to the left, and we're getting all this energy, right? And it is coming from a coronal hole and a CME from the X-flare. And once again, I'll show that to you here in just a few minutes. But you can tell that this is this really isn't what I expected this thing to look like right now. I'm going to pause it because this is speed, right? It's really not moving very fast. So I'm left to wonder what the heck is going on and why are we at a G4? Right? Because this isn't very fast. So I'm looking at the density here, and the density only goes up to a certain level on this model, and then it can't show you anything higher. So I'm wondering if it ain't just like a completely, really bang on high dense hit. But we can see the pressure here too. And as I go over like this, so you can see it hit. Look at that. Okay, that's the initial hit. And look how far, it's only like an hour or two ago. It's crazy. Heather Joy, good to see you, girl. Thank you so much for that. You guys, I know I say you guys, I'm just humbled, that's all. And I'm sorry if people get offended that I say hi to people and all that. I try to do the space weather at the beginning, but when somebody's blessing me like that, I'm going to say hi. So thank you for that. Seriously, thank you, Heather. It's good to see you. By the way, our friend, he has moved up to Chicago, south of Chicago. I think you know who I'm talking about. He got moved, right? I'll just leave it at that. You probably know who I'm talking about, but we're planning on doing a little bit of a meet and greet with me and him. So that sounds like fun. Might even get Jammer in there too, because he's up that way. But anyway, all right. Now wages, quit squirreling and get this out. Look at this. Okay, this is pressure. We can all understand pressure. And boom, 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 boom. Right? Now once it starts hitting, it's not going to stop. So, what should we be looking at, and why is all this happening? Well, first off, let's see if, because this is the solar.
Okay, look at this, guys. It got up to an S5. An S5, that's very strong solar flux here. S5 is very strong solar flux here.
X-ray flux. This is the flare. The flare gets here in 8 minutes. So whatever we got from the flare, I hate it when people say, hey, we got a flare getting ready to hit. No, 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 no. That is never the case, okay? When we get hit with a flare, it's already hit before we even know it. These models can't work that fast. It's here in 8 minutes. It's moving at the speed of light. So it's the X-rays. We're moving from the sun here, and it gets here in about 8 minutes. So when people say, hey, we got a flare coming, that's incorrect. What we got, if we got anything else coming after that, it's either going to be high energy protons, which is a radiation storm, and or a CME, coronal mass ejection. That's the geomagnetic activity down here. Now notice this ain't showing anything yet because it hasn't had enough time. It just happened. Latest observed. We're still at a G4 as I'm talking to you. So, why did this radiation just start tanking? Well, let me show you. This. The CME in the coronal hole stream is actually grabbing some of those protons and flushing them out. That's a good thing. Okay? It would be a lot better thing if it was like a G2 or a G3, but we don't need to be getting to no S5 solar radiation storm. That's not cool. I mean, we could have serious issues with stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying this. Now, we're still at that level. I don't foresee us going up any further right now, and I just told you why. I think this CME and the coronal hole stream is going to just flush a lot of it out. So what does a radiation storm look like on some of these tools? Well, it looks like a blizzard. There you go. I'm going to hit play. You're going to see it. There's the big CME. It's hitting us now.
Okay, watch this. This is important. This is very important.
See how all that comes in there? We don't get this big pepper on this this satellite, SOHO, which is 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are, but it's from our perspective, okay? So as we're looking at this, and this is the zoomed out version. Also, we got 3 planets right here. There has been some planetary alignments that's been causing the sun to, you know, just act up. And it's very real, and it's very easy to see. Okay? Now, this is the coronal hole. Now, it's trans-equatorial, and what that means is it's on the northern half and the southern half. It goes across the equator of the sun. And I'll show you a different view of this here in just a few minutes. But we're getting that coronal hole stream right before, because I'm not even so sure that the G4 we're experiencing right now and is really the CME itself yet. It could be a combination of a lot of different things here, which is why I don't want to go over the edge here and start saying a bunch of stupid stuff. You know what I mean? If all this over here on the magnetopause tool, if it had been this dark red color right here, I would be more apt to say, hey, yes, this is part of the CME. Okay? But this is not. I think it might be just a little like the beginning of it, because I think they were saying like 17 hours from the time it launched from the sun to when it was going to hit us. Now, if that, you guys can put that in a calculator if you want, but that's moving at more than 2 million miles per hour. That's faster than most CMEs move. And it's because it came from an X-flare. Okay? Now, right here again, let me show you this. This is the coronal hole. The flare happened right here, this part of the sun. Now, I'm also going to tell you that these coronal holes can kind of steer CMEs too, because you're talking about magnetics. So if the magnetic is the opposite polarity from a CME, if the stuff coming out of the coronal hole is opposite polarity of the CME itself, they'll attract each other. And then the exact opposite is true if the polarities are the same. Positive against positive or negative against negative. Simple magnet, you know, I guess logic or tech, or however you want to say that. But yeah. Now, here is the ACE. I'm going to take you to a different one of these here in just a second. But see, I just kind of confirmed what I thought was going on. Right here, see, this is the speed. You see how it dropped right there? And that's most likely because the coronal hole stream hit. And sometimes that'll happen, guys. But notice what happened at the same time as it went down. What happened? The density started going up. You know, it's like pushing a rock through water or sand. The less sand you have, the faster you can move that rock. So if you're taking some of that density away, the faster the solar wind can move. Okay? You know, I used to use different analogies to get people to understand that. But I'm going to go to this other graph. You see this right here? See how that split right there? This is the BZ. Always talk about the -6, right? Very seldom can I ever show you a BZ that on this model has a -50 and goes all the way to a -100. That's crazy. Okay? And what that means...
Did you hear that, guys? It goes from almost 0 to -100. Listen to the explanation here.
Is that is the That's the direction, negative, positive, that we're tilted. Our magnetic field is tilted. And so if the stuff hitting Earth, again, is the opposite of that polarity, it'll draw it in. So -6 is always what we look for, and I guarantee you that's -20 at least. Let's look. Yeah, see, it's even saying this is Discover. This is the same data, just on a different, little bit of a different format. Yeah, look at that. -45. That only happens during the bigger storms. So what I do want to show you is, okay, cool, this movie's ready. Let's watch this movie, okay? What this is, 131 angstrom from SDO. SDO, the website itself is having problems with the hardware. It's been down for, gosh, a few months now. But we can still see the data if we go to a different website. The data's still coming in. They're just having problems with like their servers and things. So this is the sun at the 131 angstrom, which is just an angstrom of light, and it sees specific gases. So this is the 131, and what we're going to see is you're going to see that you're going to see like little flares and little CMEs, and then you're going to see a big one. Okay, so let me just hit play here on this, and that's the Earth scale. That's how big the Earth is. To scale. Okay, so there was a small one. That right there is an eclipse of the satellite. The satellite went behind the Earth for a minute. Now that was the CME. Let me run it back. That's the flare. See how that hung on for a while? It flared for a few hours. When that happens, it's just, typically it's throwing plasma everywhere. Okay, plasma is charged gas. Okay, that's all that is. That's the fourth state of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. And all plasma is a gas that has a charge. And that's pretty much what we get from the sun.
Okay, you saw it there. That's what we got from the sun. Okay, it's hit the Earth. As I said, it has the possibility of knocking satellites out of the space. It has the possibility, and already has, blacked out radio communications here on this Earth, blacking out satellite data between space and the Earth, blocking out data from the International Space Station and the Earth, and not just that. What is going to happen with this radiation today with each one of us? Our bodies, every living thing on this Earth is going to be affected. Every living thing on this Earth is going to be affected. Doesn't matter whether it's trees, whatever kind of plants, whatever animals, goats, lamb, cows, deer, foxes, moose, cats, dogs, whatever. We all are going to be affected, including you and I. I want everybody to be put on notice right now. Watch yourselves and watch your family members. Husbands, watch your wives. Wives, watch your husbands. All of us watch our children and the rest of the members of our family. Things happen. Our minds might be affected. Our bodies might be affected. You might see some pains you haven't normally felt all the time. You may feel muscular pain. You might get headaches. Your brain waves might be affected. The way you do things might be affected. Your muscles might be affected. Watch what you do. Watch what you do. Now, we have had some knowledge. I've been told by some doctors and paramedics that we've had some people that have been affected by heart attacks. People that are on pacemakers. People that are on medical equipment devices. Those devices could also be affected. Watch what you're doing. Pay particular close attention to your health. Pay particular close attention to your health, guys. A flare like we had yesterday, the flare raced out of the sun towards the Earth. It arrived on the Earth very, very quickly, millions of miles per hour at the speed of light, coming to the Earth, all the planets between Earth and the sun, and all the planets after that, Mars, out into Uranus, out into Neptune, out into space. Okay? Everything's going to be affected. Okay? Like I said, satellites could get knocked out of orbit. Some of these satellites, such as SpaceX has launched, the Starlink spacecraft, could also be affected. It's happened before. We've had satellites from Starlink being knocked out of space before it's happened. They just got through launching more satellites just the other day. Be aware of it, guys. Watch your space weather. Watch space.com. Watch your local news as well. Okay? Again, we are going to probably see auroras up into all the way south as Arizona and Florida, as far north as the North Pole, Canada, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Russia, Germany, France, everything in the Northern Hemisphere, possibly even down into Africa. Watch what happens, guys. You folks around the South Pole region, the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, Indonesia, South America, Southern Africa, all parts of the Southern Hemisphere could also be affected with auroras. Be aware of that. You folks that are photographers, you might get some spectacular pictures if you're in clear weather, not obstructed by clouds. You guys are going to see some great weather photography. Okay? Great aurora photography. Now, speaking of weather, there's something else I want to talk about besides what we've already said. Weather, guys. Weather's going to change very spectacularly. It's going to change rapidly. Okay? Let's go back over here to the USGS map really quick. Yes, we're going to talk about earthquakes in just a minute. So stay tuned here, guys. We're not done at all. We're not even close to being done here. I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam, just like I said. We've had some earthquakes. Okay? What has happened here? What's happened here? Okay? Yesterday, down here south of New Zealand, we had a 5.3 earthquake. 5.3 earthquake down here near the Bellany Islands. Large earthquake here. All over New Zealand, yesterday and today, we've had 2.0 to 2.9 minor earthquakes. We've had 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes here in New Zealand. Upwards of 4.5 to 4.8 earthquakes here in New Zealand. Ongoing. USGS is not going to talk about it. They rarely do. But it's happened. Over here in the Kermadec Islands, we're having 4.5, 4.8 earthquakes here. Going north into Tonga. Today, a large 5.1 earthquake hit here. 18 miles south of Hihifotonga. 18 miles south of Hihifotonga. Large 5.1 earthquake. Large 5.1 earthquake. This is 18 miles south of the island. People here on Hihifotonga probably didn't feel a total of 5.1. They may have felt some kind of shaking here, but not large shaking. Possibly even moderate shaking, 4.0 to 4.9. Now, guys, do not listen to what USGS is telling you. USGS is off in their own little world. Last year, they reclassified earthquakes lesser than they normally are. They classified large earthquakes as moderate earthquakes. What a farce that is. What a cotton picking farce that is. Moderate earthquakes 4.0 to 4.9 do moderate damage. They knock things off of shelves, knickknacks, and books. They knock pictures and plaques off of walls. They rattle dishes and cupboards. If you don't have your dishes and cupboards on latch with a latch on the door of the cupboard, your dishes may rattle and fall off and break. Large earthquakes knock plates and dishes and glasses out of cupboards, and they do break. It knocks them out. Moderate earthquakes rattle. They still, because of the movement of the earth, they can still fall out of the cupboards. Be aware of it. Large earthquakes do large amount of damage. Not only do they throw dishes out of cupboards, glasses and plates and everything else, guess what? You're going to see great big huge cracks in the walls, cracks in your ceilings. Your entire structure can fall. That's happened. Happens all the time. But USGS is not in the right minds and hasn't been for quite some time. They're not being truthful with anyone. They're not showing the numbers of earthquakes around the world as they have in the past. Today, USGS says there's 288 earthquakes worldwide. There are actually 1,600 plus earthquakes worldwide. They're not even showing a quarter of them, not an eighth of them. This is a huge disappointment. USGS, as they've said in the past, has been the preeminent seismic agency of the world. Now they're not. They're a laughingstock. Let's go down here to the Caledonia Legacy Islands. Okay, this is just north of the Legacy Islands down here in Levuka, Fiji. This is 153 miles east of Levuka, Fiji. Northeast of Levuka, Fiji. This is a 4.4 earthquake. 4.4 earthquake. 4.4 deep earthquake. 327 miles deep. 570 miles deep, guys. That's a deep earthquake. As a result of this deep earthquake, this 4.4 deep earthquake is going to propagate at least a 5.5 earthquake. This 4.4 deep earthquake is going to propagate a 5.5 very large earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. Probably somewhere within this region. Be aware of it. It could also reach over as far east as Papua New Guinea or Indonesia. We just got through having an earthquake here in Papua New Guinea. We'll come back to that in a minute. Further south here, over in the Legacy Islands, New Caledonia. This is another very strong 6.0 earthquake. 6.0, 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. This is a very strong 6.0 earthquake. This earthquake hit here at 2:30 this morning Eastern Time. Very strong 6.0 earthquake. This was different from the one in Fiji. This is a shallow quake. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. 6.0 earthquake, very damaging earthquake in this region. Now, fortunately, this was 162 miles east-southeast of Tadine, New Caledonia, meaning it was far enough away that the ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Nobody on land felt this quake. There are some aftershocks. USGS is only showing 2 of them. This is a 5.0 large aftershock. Also 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake. also 6.2 miles deep. Again, far enough away from any inhabited island that nobody felt this earthquake. The ocean waters absorb the shock waves of these quakes. That's fortunate. Very fortunate. Let's go over to Vanuatu here. Solomon Islands area. Northern Vanuatu, southeast Solomon Islands. This is another 4.9, 5.0 large earthquake. 4.9, 5.0 earthquake. Why do I do that? Because USGS downgrades the earthquakes to the nearest 0.9. This is at least a 5.0, 5.1 earthquake. I looked at the data. This was at least a 5.0, 5.1 earthquake. 50 miles, 72 kilometers deep. 4.9, 5.0 earthquake here in the Solomon Islands, northern Vanuatu Island area. Linda Covington just gave us a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Linda. I'm giving you an EMA sticker on your super chat. I'm also giving you a thumbs up. Happy Martin Luther King Day to you as well. MLK, Martin Luther King Day. We're observing that here in the United States, all over the place. Martin Luther King was not that well known overseas around the world, but here in the United States, he was a civil rights hero. Okay? But like I said, this is important. Thank you, Linda, for that $20 super chat. God bless you. We appreciate that. Getting back here to the Solomon Islands, northern Vanuatu area. 5.0 earthquake here. 50.7 miles deep, about 72 kilometers deep here. Okay? Let's go east here, or west here, west here. Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea. This is in the mountainous region, the edge of the plate. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. Each tectonic plate is subducting under the other here. This is over here on one of the tectonic plates. This is a 4.7 mod earthquake. As I said before, 4.7 earthquakes can be damaging earthquakes. Here in this region, many of these people who live here don't have a lot of money. The average income of people here in Papua New Guinea is about $500 a year, unless you live in a major city. Then it might be higher. But here in this region, people live off the land. What they can catch in the water, or what they can catch on land, or what they can grow is all they live on. They live in cardboard huts, wooden huts. Okay? They don't have much. When an earthquake like this hits, anybody in any of these towns around this area have their lives devastated. They have very little. When an earthquake hits here, it damages their lives, almost to the point they have to give up. Sometimes these earthquakes like this can kill these people as well. Here in the United States and the developed countries, it doesn't usually happen, but here, in underdeveloped countries, it can happen very easily. 4.7 earthquake here in Papua New Guinea. Okay? Let's go west here. Notice this. Papua Indonesia here, they're not showing any earthquakes. They're showing very few earthquakes here in Indonesia altogether. There are 47 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 47 earthquakes. What are they showing? 6 earthquakes? 6 earthquakes, what a joke. What a joke this is. Okay? Let's go over here. East Central Indonesia. 4.5 earthquake here, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. 4.5, 150 miles east of Masawi, Indonesia. Okay? Masawi, Indonesia. Look where it's at. Look where it's at. People living in this town here felt this earthquake. 4.5 moderate earthquake. They felt this earthquake. There are also colonies or towns around this earthquake as well. They felt this earthquake, guys. They felt it. Okay? Let's back out again. Let's go down southeast of Java here. Down here we have another 4.9, 5.0 here in Timor, Indonesia. Timor, Indonesia here. Look where it hit. Just offshore from one of these islands. Now, guys, a lot of these islands are not inhabited. Not inhabited. This earthquake hit out here in the Banda Sea. I don't think anybody felt this earthquake at all. Far enough away from inhabited islands here. Let's go further to the west here. This earthquake here hit over on land here, right next to this tiny island here. 4.5 earthquake near Los Palos, Timor-Leste, Indonesia. 77 miles away from Los Palos, Timor, Indonesia. But again, right next to an island here. As I said before, some of these islands are not inhabited, but in this case, there's a town here. There's a town here, guys, and they felt this earthquake. 4.5 earthquake. Yes, it was over on the other side of the island. On the other side of the island, but they felt part of this earthquake. Maybe not as strong as a 4.5, but they felt part of this earthquake nonetheless. Some kind of shaking here. Okay? Let's back out here. Let's go over to the west. Okay? Southeast of Java, again on the plate here. The Indo-Australian plate here. This is a 4.5 earthquake here. Right here. Actually 4.7. 4.7, 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep. 145 miles southwest of Tambolaka, Indonesia. Rob52, one of our mods, one of my best friends, also gave us a super chat, $10 super chat. Rob, I just gave you an EMA sticker on your super chat. I'm also giving you a thumbs up for that as well. Thank you so much, Rob. God bless you. God bless you. Appreciate you, brother. Going over to Java. Good old Java, Indonesia here. Guess what? Guess what? Right here. Right here. This is just west of Java, Indonesia, over here on the southern tip of Sumatra. Southern tip of Sumatra, Indonesia here. Right here. On land. 4.3 earthquake here. 4.3 moderate earthquake. On land. 35 miles northwest of Sorong, Indonesia. Sorong, Indonesia, down here to the south. Again, these people don't have a lot of money here. They don't have a lot of money. They're tiny towns here. Tiny towns. They get affected by these earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes, again, can do moderate damage. Just because USGS shows 4.5s, 4.2s, 4.3s, does not mean there are not others here. There are. USGS is not showing all the earthquakes here. They have up to 4.8 earthquakes here in Indonesia. They have all the way down to 2.5, 2.7 minor earthquakes, all over Indonesia. They're not showing even a quarter of them, not even close to that. Over here in central Sumatra, Indonesia here, this is a large 5.0 earthquake here. I checked the parameters of this earthquake. This may have been upwards of a 5.2 to 5.3 large earthquake. Doing damage here. Doing damage. This is on the plate itself. The edge of the plate is southwest of here. But this is in the mountainous region here in Sumatra, Indonesia. 5.0 large earthquake, 104.6 miles deep, about 200 kilometers deep. About 200 kilometers deep here in the mountainous region here. People here felt this earthquake. Depending on the terrain, depending on the bedrock here, they filled it for probably 200 or 300 miles around the epicenter. 200 to 3, even possibly even 300 miles away from the epicenter, depending on the bedrock of this where this earthquake is. Okay? They felt this quake. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people may have been suffering damages from this earthquake. Large earthquake does a large amount of damage here. Large earthquakes do a large amount of damage here. Okay? Now here, let's back out. I want to go over here to Southeast Asia here. Myanmar. Remember Myanmar here? Last year, I believe it was last spring, we had a 7.4 earthquake here, just north of here. We're still having aftershocks of that earthquake here. This is a 4.4 aftershock. 4.4 aftershock, 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep. Almost directly north of here, China. A large 5.2 earthquake hit here. 5.2 earthquake hit here. Again, it's in the semi-hilly region here in China. This earthquake affected everybody within this region. Affected everybody within this region. They felt this quake shake. Okay? There are other quakes here in China. Yesterday, we also had some earthquakes up here in Russia. Right up here in Russia, we had 5.2 and 5.3 earthquakes here in Russia yesterday. Yes, people are feeling these earthquakes all over Russia today. They're probably digging themselves out. They may be digging themselves out from rubble around their homes or even rubble in the snow here. They have deep snow here in Russia. Deep snow here in Russia. Okay? Over here on the southern Kamchatka Peninsula, right here, 4.6 earthquake here. 4.6 earthquake here along the shoreline of southeast Kamchatka Peninsula. 4.6 earthquake, 44 miles southeast of Obernoskoye, Russia. Obernoskoye, Russia here. Okay? Now, this past week, we've had several volcanic eruptions here on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Several of them. Shibuya volcano right here erupted. 46,000 feet high. 46,000 feet high here. Kliuchevskoye, I think it was 26,000 feet high at Kliuchevskoye. One of the volcanoes south of here also erupted. I don't remember, I think it was Karinsky. That had a 17,000 foot eruption here on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Volcanoes are erupting here. I saw a video from when Shibuya volcano erupted here on the Kamchatka Peninsula. It was not pretty. They had about 2 feet of snow, and then they had about 6 inches of ash on top of the snow. 6 inches of ash on top of the snow. Now, why am I talking about it? Why am I talking about, guys? What happens with ash and water? What happens with ash and water here? When ash hits water, it becomes literally cement, concrete. They had people on top of their homes, people on top of buildings, commercial and residential buildings, trying to shovel that ash as fast as they could as it was falling to get it off the roof, because the ash added the weight of the roof. When it hits that snow, it becomes concrete. Concrete weighs a ton of pounds, tons of weight. It can collapse roofs, it can collapse buildings with that kind of weight. They had to shovel ash off the roofs to keep the houses, the buildings from collapsing. That's incredible. That's literally incredible. Let's go over here into Afghanistan and Tajikistan here. Let's look at Afghanistan and Tajikistan here. Right here. Okay. This earthquake happened in Pakistan. In Pakistan. This was a large enough earthquake that people in Pakistan were injured. Cities were not destroyed, but had heavy damage. And also, because of the bedrock here in this region, other areas such as Afghanistan and Tajikistan also suffered damage here. This earthquake was felt along a huge region. Huge region. This area is also mountainous. Mountainous, guys. Look where it comes out of. The Himalaya Mountains. This is the edge of the plate. This is along the edge of a tectonic plate here. The edge of the tectonic plate. That's why we have earthquakes here. Earthquakes in this region come from Indonesia, go up here through Burma, Myanmar area, up here through India, possibly into China, along the Himalaya mountain area here, along the edge of the plate, all the way up here into Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan. That's where these earthquakes come from. That's why we had an earthquake here. 5.6 earthquake, very damaging here in Pakistan. And felt along a large region here. Okay, over here in Iran. Over here in Iran. Okay, this is a 4.3 earthquake here. This is southeast of Iraq. This is basically over here at the border region of Iran and Iraq. This is a 4.3 earthquake here. 4.3 earthquake here. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? Now, they're not showing all the earthquakes here at all. At all. 43 earthquakes hit here in the Syria-Turkey border region. 43. Why? Because 3 years ago, we had a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake hit here in this region. It unalived over 5,000 people and injured 5,000 more. The earthquake also opened up a fissure here. A fissure here in Eastern Turkey. A 14-mile long fissure that can fit an 8-story building into the bottom of it. An 8-story building fissure here. Huge, huge earthquake causing that kind of fissure to open up. Every time an earthquake hits in this region, doesn't matter how small it is, if they can feel it, they are becoming very concerned, are we going to get another earthquake like the one before? A good thing with this A good majority of the earthquakes hitting here in the Turkey cerebral region are minor tremors and minor earthquakes. Fortunate for them. They don't feel 90% of these quakes, but they are still feeling the small 3.0, 3.9, and the occasional 4.5 to 5.5 earthquake that hits here. They do hit here. Okay? Large number of earthquakes here. Huge number of earthquakes hit here. Okay? Now, let's go over here into Turkey. Northern Turkey, Central Turkey, and Southern Turkey. Western Turkey. Earthquakes all over the place. Literally all over the place. North, south, east, west. But over here on the western north side of Turkey, northwestern side of Turkey right here, guess what? 50 plus earthquakes here, probably close to 72 earthquakes here and here, as I counted earlier today. Large number of earthquakes happening. That's because when we have swarms, as I've said before, when there are swarms, that means that's just a telltale sign that a large earthquake is going to be incoming. It happens. Happens. They've already had at least 3 5.0, 5.4 earthquakes here in the recent past. 2 years ago, we had a 6.5 earthquake hit here. Seismic energy is still hitting here, very large. Very, very large energy here. A lot of these earthquakes are 1.0 to 1.9. Good majority 1.0, 1.9. But again, we're also having minor earthquakes, small earthquakes, and also moderate earthquakes hitting here in northwestern Turkey. Northwestern Turkey. That's not all, folks. There's more. Down here along the western coast of Turkey, earthquakes. 1.2 to 1.9, 2.7, 2.8, 3.2, 3.7, 4.5 earthquakes hitting here in southwestern Turkey here. Out here in the islands here, this is the Aegean Sea. We're having 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, 2.2, 2.5, 2.7, and 2.9 earthquakes hitting here in the what they call the Dokanese Islands here. The Dokanese Islands here. USGS is not showing these earthquakes either, which is a crying shame. Crying shame. Over here in Greece, 22 earthquakes have hit here in Greece, ongoing every day. While the earthquakes are hit here in northern Greece here, all the way through the Gulf of Corinth here, the Gulf of Corinth, all the way up here to Palos, Patras, named after the apostles. Okay? Earthquakes 1.0 to 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes hitting here. Large numbers up. Large numbers. 18 earthquakes have hit this region in the past 24 hours. Earthquakes. Western Greece here, we're seeing 2.2, 2.7, 3.5 small, 3.7 small earthquakes hit here. Offshore Western Greece. Earthquakes hitting here in the islands here. 4.2, 4.5, 4.7 earthquakes hit here off the coast of Greece here. Every day. Every darn day. Over here in the Mediterranean, Sicily and Italy here. 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, 2.4, 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes hitting here in Sicily. In the shoe of the boot, the toe of the boot, 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes hitting here. Going north here. Going all the way up here towards Naples. All the way up here towards Naples. They're still not showing earthquakes hitting here. There are earthquakes hitting here in this region. Why? Because we have a volcano here. We have a volcano. Pompeii is here. Vesuvius volcano. Sorry, my sinus is running. Vesuvius volcano is not erupting yet, but it's steaming. There is magma down beneath it. Authorities here in this region are worried about this volcano erupting. Some areas around this volcano have been evacuated. Other residents are still going in and out of their homes when they have earthquakes because they're afraid that this volcano is going to erupt. They're very afraid that this volcano is going to erupt. Now, the fathers of these communities settled communities all around the volcano. All around the volcano. This is a very populous area, urbanized. Urbanized, guys. Every time an earthquake hits here, all of a sudden chaos almost erupts. It doesn't matter whether it's just a small 3.0, 4.5, 4.7 earthquakes have hit here in the past few days. Yeah. It's no wonder these people are more than just concerned. They know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. They know the history of this volcano. They've lived it. Their families have lived it. Their families have passed on the stories about when this volcano last erupted. Again, people have been evacuated from this region for good reason. But there are still people living here. There are still people living here. Okay? This area right here, we have earthquakes. 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, and 1 3.7 earthquake here. Okay? Keeps happening. North central Italy, we have 25 earthquakes here. 25 earthquakes here. Just the other day, we had 50 here. 50 earthquakes from 1.0 all the way up to 4.5. From 1.0 tremors all the way up to 4.5 moderate shaking here. That's because we are working upwards to a large 5.0 to 5.5 earthquake hitting here, again, in this region, in this area, probably within the next 6 months. That's what the average is. About every 6 months to a year. Now, it might be 6 months from now. They're going to have another earthquake here. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. Northern Italy and the Alps region, 1.5, 1.7 tremors. On the other side, Switzerland, Germany, 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes in here. All the time, every day. Now, these aren't always in the very same place. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It's literally all around this area. All around this area. Upwards of over here towards the English Channel here. All the way up here towards the English Channel here. Okay? Down here along the border of France and Spain. 2 earthquakes. Actually 3. A 2.7, a 2.5, and a 1.3 tremor hit here. The border of France and Spain here. Southern Spain, a couple 3 earthquakes hit here. Those are just minor 2.0 to 2.7 earthquakes. Northern Spain, 1.5, 1.7. Over here to the west of Spain, Portugal, 1.7, 2.5 earthquakes to the north. 2.5 to 2.7 earthquakes here to the south and over here in the Azore Islands as well. 2.5, 2.7, 3.5 earthquakes here in the Azore Islands. Down here in the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands are having minor tremors here. Minor tremors. We have had minor tremors here before. We've had minor earthquakes here before. We've had a volcanic eruption over here in the Western Canary Islands. The Western Canary Islands right here at La Palma Island. There was a volcano eruption here on the southern part of the volcano here. The southern part of the volcano here on the volcano spine. The volcano spine, mountainous region here of La Palma. It's where that eruption was. It was called the Cumbre Viejas volcanic eruption. We covered that eruption here 3 years ago. It's possible that it could happen again. I don't expect it to happen, but it could. It is possible that it could happen again. Okay? That's what's happened here in Europe. Earthquakes are still happening up here near Greenland, Svalbard, Iceland, down here into Puerto Rico. Here near Puerto Rico. Haiti and the Dominican Republic here. Let's talk about this. This is a 3.4 earthquake here between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. 3.4 earthquake hit here. This is what they call the Mona Passage. The body of water between Puerto Rico and right here. Okay? We have a couple of earthquakes here. Why? Because, guys, this is the southwestern area of Puerto Rico. December 26th and December 28th, 2019. We had two man-made earthquakes here. Two man-made earthquakes here. One on December 26th was an 8.0. The other was a 8.4 on December 28th, 6 years ago. Today, this 2.2 aftershocks continues to hit here. We're getting 1.9 tremors, 2.0 to 2.9 earthquakes hitting here, and even upwards of 3.0 earthquakes hitting here in southwestern Puerto Rico. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. 3 miles east, just outside of Parguera, Puerto Rico. Just outside east of Parguera, Puerto Rico here. 2.2 earthquake hit here. This is a 2.0 earthquake hitting here. This is in Indios, Puerto Rico. This earthquake is in Indios, Puerto Rico right here. Okay? 2.0 earthquake, 10.4 miles deep. Just over 6 miles deep here. Okay? They're still happening. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to stop for a long time. We've seen earthquakes like this happen for a very long time. Weeks, months, and years after a major earthquake. Now that was a major earthquake caused by man. Caused by man. Why? What happened? What happened, guys? I'll tell you why it happened. We had an organization that was a United States organization with this name right here. This name right here. Please, guys, please do not put this name in the chat. I don't want to see these letters in chat. The last time someone put them in chat, we got kicked off the air. This group right here lit off 3 facilities. 3 facilities. One in Norway. Yeah, one in Norway. One in Russia. And one in northwestern Australia. They activated the radio antennas. They triangulated Puerto Rico and caused, on December 26th, an 8.0 earthquake. On December 28th, they lit up again, causing an 8.4 earthquake. 8.4 earthquake doing tremendous damage. Those two very strong earthquakes, very dangerous, very major earthquakes. Those were major earthquakes, guys. They knocked down buildings. They knocked down homes. They knocked down power all over Puerto Rico. There was a sandstone arch here. There was a sandstone arch here off the beaches here in Puerto Rico. A sandstone arch here along the beaches of Puerto Rico. A sandstone arch just like the arches in Arches National Park in Utah. That 8.4 earthquake destroyed it. Destroyed it, knocked that arch down. Unreal power of those earthquakes. Man-made earthquakes here. Man-made earthquakes, guys. That's what happens. That's what happens. East of Puerto Rico out here. This earthquake happened because of where it's at. It's on an earthquake fault. Earthquake fault between Puerto Rico and what else? The U.S. Virgin Islands. 3.1 earthquake hit here. 3.1 small earthquake hit here, out in the ocean. It had no effect. It did not damage anybody's lifestyle at all. The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Nobody even felt this quake. Nobody felt this quake at all. Going up here into the United States, let's talk about weather. Yes, we have earthquakes here. But before we talk about weather, let's go up here to the northwest. Right up here. Northwestern Montana. Kicking Horse, Montana. Kicking Horse, Montana in the Rocky Mountains. Guess what? We have a 2.6 earthquake here, a minor earthquake in the Rocky Mountains. Why? Because seismic energy comes from the north, northern Canada and Alaska here. Northern Canada and Alaska. Seismic energy comes out of the Rocky Mountains all the way down here into Montana, all the way down into Wyoming, all the way down from there into Idaho, Utah, Colorado, all the way down to New Mexico, Arizona, even to western Texas, northwestern Texas. Okay? Yes, that's what we're going to see here. But a 2.6 earthquake hit here in Kicking Horse, Montana, Rocky Mountains. Okay? Just briefly, I want to go over here to the Southern Cascadia Subduction Zone. The Southern Cascadia Subduction Zone. Over here, right next to just west of the Triple Junction. Just west of the Triple Junction here. This is the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment here. The Triple Junction unites the Gorda Escarpment and the Cascadia Subduction Zone and the San Andreas Fault. That's why it's called the Triple Junction here. Here off the north coast of California, west of Petrolia, we have a moderate 4.2 earthquake. A moderate 4.2 earthquake is hit here. Okay? This hit here yesterday evening, just about 7:20 p.m. yesterday evening. 7:20 p.m. yesterday evening. Eastern Time. That was 4:20 p.m. Pacific Time. 4.2 earthquake hit here. A few days ago, on Friday, we had a 5.0 earthquake hit here on the Blanco fracture zone, west of Bannon, Oregon. 162 miles west of Bannon, Oregon. A 5.3 earthquake hit here. 5.3 large earthquake hit here. We are going to see large earthquakes hit here. We're going to see more and more earthquakes hit here, guys. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Along the west coast of Canada and the United States. You guys are going to see moisture. Most of it's going to be rain. As we go through towards the east, that rain is going to turn to snow. The rain is going to turn to snow. Northern Utah's gotten snow. Idaho, Colorado, snow. Montana, Wyoming, snow. Vancouver, British Columbia. Alberta, Columbia, definitely cold. It's going to get fiercely cold, guys. Very fiercely cold. Very fiercely cold. Watch yourselves. That cold is going to reach down into Texas again. It's going to reach down here to the southern states. By Friday or Saturday, and Saturday, South Carolina, North Carolina, and states to the north, you're going to get a wintry mix. You're going to get a wintry mix. Guys, we've already had temperatures down into the upper teens. We've already had temperatures down in the upper teens. During this past weekend, they got snow in New York, Boston, and other areas. But by this next weekend, that wintry mix is going to really come in here hard. The northeastern tier of the United States is going to get nailed. It's going to get nailed with a huge nor'easter coming in. Look out. Be safe out there. Now, some of that wintry mix could also go down into northern Florida. Be aware of that. Get prepared, guys. It's going to be bad. It has potential of getting very bad. I'm just putting this out for you. I want you to be warned of it. I want you to be warned about it. There are many weather forecasters here on YouTube. There are many weather forecasters here on YouTube. Be aware of it. Check with them and see what's going on. One of my own personal favorite is listed down here underneath this video here today in our program description. Go to his link I have provided for you. He's not going to paint a pretty picture by this weekend. It's not going to be a pretty picture at all. You're going to get a wintry mix and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. I just got a call from one of our own family members, EMA family members. She's driving a truck along the northern tier of states. Cold, wintry blizzard conditions. She even had to pull over her truck at a truck stop because trucks were being blown over on the highways. Trucks were being blown over on the highways, sliding off into the ditches and being blown over. Cars off the road. Cars being stranded. That's what we expect to have happen. Like I said, there are many weather forecasters here on YouTube. Watch your weather forecasts where you live. Watch where you live. Be aware of everything going on around you. If it's too bad, stay home. If it gets too bad, stay home. Years ago when I was a teenager driving in North Dakota, I've driven through blizzards.
Location, Costa Rica. Class, light, magnitude, 4.3, 15 minutes ago.
4.3 earthquake in Costa Rica 15 minutes ago. 4.3 moderate earthquake in Costa Rica 15 minutes ago. Getting back to this weather, guys. Look out. Be prepared. Make sure your cars and your trucks are prepared. Make sure you have tools. Make sure you have mechanics tools. Make sure you have oil. Make sure you have antifreeze. Make sure you may have spare parts for your car. If you know how to work on your car, make sure you have spare parts. Make sure you have a spare tire in case you get a flat tire. Make sure you have weight in the back of your car. I've cautioned people to have anywhere between a 50 to 150 pound bag of sand. 50 to 150 pound bag of sand. Why? Because you can get traction from weight. You can get traction from weight. Put that sand bag there for weight for your car. You may have to also sprinkle it on the ground around your tires to make sure you have traction for your tires. But the weight of that sand can keep you on the road, can keep you from sliding on the road. One of my most daring tricks, and I shouldn't say even daring tricks, was a very dangerous condition. We were coming back from a family reunion in Idaho and I headed back to Fargo, around Bismarck, North Dakota. Blizzard conditions. I passed over an overpass, a bridge on the highway, Interstate 94. As I passed over a bridge there on Interstate 94, the car started sliding. The car started sliding, guys. I maintained somewhat control over the car. I made a total 360-degree turn. I made a total 360-degree turn in the middle of the highway. I was able to recover the car and continue on down the road eastbound from Bismarck towards Fargo. My mother screamed. My dad told me, "Ron, you're doing a good job. Keep on doing it." He let me continue to drive from Bismarck to Fargo because I showed him that I could control the car even in blizzard conditions. I do not anywhere want to perpetuate the idea that adults turn over their car to a 16-year-old young man. I got lucky. Not everybody can be as lucky. Like I said, one of our own family members was up there. She pulled into a truck stop. Some cars are already blown off the road, slid off the road. Other truckers fell on their sides or completely flipped over. Be safe out there. Have tools for your vehicles. Have survival kits. Have food and water. Food and water. Snacks, food and water. Be advised. If you get stalled on the side of the road, that water could turn to ice. Be aware of it. Be aware of it. You might not be able to drink until that water turns back into water again. But you need to have food and water. You need to have adequate winter clothing for people in your car, the driver and other passengers in the car. Jackets and coats, parkas if necessary, blankets, clothing such as shoes and boots, gloves, mittens, and headwear. Have it, guys, have it. Your lives depend on it. If you're home, stay there. If you're home, stay there. Like I said, before this storm even gets here by this weekend on the East Coast, you all need to remember what's going on. It's going to be a mean weekend on the East Coast. It will be a mean weekend on the East Coast. Meanwhile, down here in the south part of this country, south central part of the country, you guys are going to see storms. You're going to see thunderstorms. You may even see tornadoes here. Be aware of it. Be aware of it, guys. It's not going to be fun. Renee Stubby's here in the chat saying she once drove in whiteout conditions when she worked for the railroad. If not for a four-wheel drive, she would have been freaking out. We didn't have four-wheel drive when I was a kid. I only had a four-wheel drive vehicle once I became a cop. I had a four-wheel drive vehicle when I became a cop. I have a four-wheel drive vehicle now. Lucky for me. Texas ladies here in chat, luckily she says we don't get much snow. People drive too fast and they're not experienced. I agree. I agree. Before we leave you tonight, there's something else I need to tell you. Okay? Please. There are people that live in California. There are YouTube videos here that says California has problems. Yes, they do. There has not been any holdup on the highways between Arizona and California. Yesterday morning, there are people reporting that the trucks were stopped here in California not delivering food. Because of that, people from California were trying to travel out of state. They said Nevada Highway Patrol was blocking the roads from California, so people could not come into Nevada to buy food. They also said Arizona Highway Patrol was blocking highways coming out of California into Arizona, Highway 10 and Highway 8. That did not happen. That did not happen. But it could. It could happen. But what these people were reporting on YouTube was completely false information, and I reported on it. I reported on it. The highways were not blocked off at all. The only time the highways were blocked off here in the California, Arizona, and Nevada area because of traffic accidents. Traffic accidents. Okay? Yes, there are political problems in California. Real political problems. The big auto refinery, gas refinery stations here have closed down. Closed down. Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, Valero have shut down the refineries from the San Francisco Bay Area south to San Diego. The offshore rigs here have been shut down. Shut down. Chevron owned 3 oil refineries here up here in Los Angeles area. Those oil rigs off the California coast have been shut down. Exxon and Chevron have shut them down totally. Totally. The oil refineries in Los Angeles have been shut down. Gavin Newsom is importing gas from China and the Middle East. From Tehran and China in the Middle East. Yeah. California is importing gas. And gas is going to become very expensive here. Some places I've heard of gas being as much as $8 a gallon for a gallon of gas. I've heard $6 a gallon, $5 a gallon in some places, but mostly 6 and above. It's going to continue to happen because of your governor here in California. He's an idiot. He is a blooming idiot. And he wants to run for president. He wants to run for president. He's another blooming idiot here, running his state into the ground. That's a fact. That is a fact you can take to the bank. Now, let's go up here into Nevada. Nevada had a 4-point something earthquake here. Going up here. This is Johannesburg, California, Mojave Desert. We had a 4.5 earthquake here the other day. Today, this is a 1.4 tremor. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This is 1.2 tremor here in Johannesburg, Mojave Desert. They have earthquakes here, guys. They have earthquakes. Let's go up here. Cyril's Valley, Ridgecrest area, Mojave Desert. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Down here near Ridgecrest, 9 miles east-northeast of Ridgecrest, 1.0 tremor here. Going north here, Little Lake, California, there's a swarm of earthquakes here. Look at this. These earthquakes keep happening here. Again, this is the Mojave Desert. Mojave Desert. This is a 0.7 microquake. This is a 1.2 tremor here. This is a 1.3 tremor here. That's all they are here so far. So far. North of there, we have the Kozo Volcanic Field. The Kozo Volcanic Field. They have earthquakes there for a different reason. It's a volcanic field. Magma down here beneath the surface here. Magma down here beneath the surface. Kitty Haven just gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you, Kitty Haven. Thank you for that a lot. God bless you. She says, share this on social media. Thanks, Ron. I'm going to share this on social media and also invite you all to also share it. Kitty Haven, I just gave you an EMA sticker on your super chat. I'm also giving you a thumbs up for that. Thank you so much for that super chat. God bless you guys. We appreciate it. Now let's go further here. Let's go further here. Okay. That's Cyril's Valley. Right here. Indian Springs, Nevada. 2.3 earthquake. 2.3 earthquake. Yes, we had a 4.5 earthquake here. Okay. Up here along the northern Nevada border here with California, we have a 3.5 earthquake here in Empire, Nevada. 13 miles west of Empire, Nevada here. Okay. This normal. This normal. Okay. This is actually the foothills, the eastern foothills of the Sierra Mountains here. 3.5 earthquake. Okay. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot more. Over here on the western side, Susanville, California, we had a 4.5, a 5.0 earthquake here a week or so ago. 2.2 earthquake here in Susanville, California now. It's going to happen. Going to continue. Earthquakes are going to hit here, guys. They're going to hit here. The 4.5 earthquake hit here in Nevada yesterday. They're going to continue. Promise you. They're going to continue. This place is going to shake. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about Los Angeles. I'm going to talk about Southern California. Thursday I'm going to talk about the Pacific Northwest. Friday I'm going to try to talk more about the New Madrid Fault here and talk about emergency preparedness. Now, guys, I'm going to ask all of you to also give me input. Below this video today, also on social media, also on our super chats, also on our comments below this video. Give us comments what you want to see on this video. Give us comments what you want to see on our program. We'll do it. I promise you we'll do it. We've always helped all you guys out in the past. We're going to continue that. I promise you that. We're going to give you the information you want and need. Okay? Tell us what you want to see. You have our email address, rltnspdema@gmail.com. Send us comments. Send us questions. Send us what you want to see on the program. Below this video are comments after the program. Send us comments as well. We'd like to see it. Comments and likes on this program. If you like this program, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Comments and likes are judged by YouTube as interest in our program. If we don't have comments and don't have likes on this program, YouTube says, oh, this program's not worth anything. They don't give us any comments. They don't give us any credit. They don't like us. They don't want anybody to see this program. If you like this program, let us know. Let us know. Also, guys, scrolling down the bottom of your screen right here, you see our PayPal addresses. Our Venmo's still not working. We're trying to get it working. You can send us donation to our PayPal to keep this program on the air. Okay? We required bandwidth to broadcast. We require bandwidth to broadcast. This past month, beginning January, the bandwidth cost went up $5 a month. Now we're paying $258 a month for bandwidth. Unheard of. Unheard of. Just to be able to broadcast this program. We'd appreciate your help keeping this program on the air. We love you guys. We love you a lot. I want to thank all of you guys for your support. I want to thank you for your super chats. That's all greatly appreciated. Very much greatly appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for that. Now, in closing, I want to go back to the scriptures here. The scriptures teach us knowledge, gives us spiritual knowledge. Now, guys, this is important. We have physical problems in our societies, wall to wall around this world, whether it be Europe, whether it be Australia, Japan, Southeast Asia, Africa, anywhere. There are problems in our societies. The problems are physical problems, but not just physical, but spiritual problems. They can only be solved by spiritual power from on high. The solutions to these problems cannot be fixed by normal people, because normal people cause the problems. More than anything, some of these problems are caused by politicians that have no clue. Politicians that have no clue. If you want problems fixed, ask God. Ask God for help. Now, I want to go over to Acts. Acts 2nd chapter, one of my favorite chapters in the Bible. Acts 2nd chapter, starting with verse 31. Actually 32. Verse 32, 33, 32 and 33. This Jesus hath God raised up, whereof we are all witnesses. Therefore, being by the right hand of God exalted, and having received of the Father the promise of the Holy Ghost, he has shed forth this which ye now see and hear. For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he that saith himself, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand, until I make thy foes thy footstool. Therefore, let all the house of Israel, all the house of Israel, all of us, the house of Israel, let all the house of Israel know assuredly that God hath made the same Jesus, that same Jesus, whom ye have crucified, both Lord and Christ. Now, when they heard this, they were pricked in their hearts, and said unto Peter and the rest of the apostles, all the brethren were there, Men and brethren, what shall we do? What did Peter say? What did Peter say to the people here? What do you think he said? Peter testified of the resurrection of the Savior. He tells us here how to gain salvation. He tells us here how to gain salvation. Peter said unto them, Repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Jesus Christ, for the remission of your sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. Ye shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. There's something else that everyone needs to know. Repent, be baptized, and receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, and what else? Listen to the Spirit. Listen to the gift of the Holy Ghost talk to you. Listen to the Spirit talk to you. He will talk to you, I promise you that. He will tell you what you need to do. He will tell you things you need to do. Listen to the Spirit. He will guide you. He will guide and direct you. I promise you that. In the name of the Savior, in the name of the Savior Jesus Christ, I testify that if you pray and ask for questions to be answered, they will answer them through the gift and the power of the Holy Ghost. And through the gift and the power of the Holy Ghost, you may know the truth of all things. That is directly from the Scriptures, brothers and sisters. Directly from the Scriptures. I promise you that. I promise you that. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. I love you very much. My buddy Demon Catman is here, one of our mods here. I've grown to love this man. He's a good friend of mine. Very, very dear friend. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can be a member of our program here on YouTube. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can be a member of our program. I kept that membership value down so you can join this program and be a member. Because when we have members-only meetings, you can be here for it. And we're going to start giving members-only meetings where you're only going to get information if you're here on the air during our members-only meeting. And if you're here as a member, you can get that information, or if you're a member, you can go back and review it. We're here for you. We're here for you because we love you. We care about you and your families. We give you emergency information because it happens. We want to protect your families, protect you as well. We're here 5 days a week on the air between 4 and 5 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. If something happens at night or early in the morning, we're back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Always, always, 7 days a week, 660 or 365 days a year. Not 600, 365 days a year. 24/7 something happens, we'll be here for you. We've done it before, we're going to do it again. On Sundays, like yesterday, we had a Sunday school class. I started with it last week. We had a Sunday school class about Genesis chapters 1 and 2 and talking about Moses and Abraham. I backed up just a little bit. Yesterday afternoon, I talked about the Old Testament in general. Why? Because I want to give you an overview. I want to talk to you about how the scriptures are valuable to each one of us. That's why I did an overview of the Old Testament. Go back and review that. I think it was a great class. I think it was a great class for everybody. Go back and review that. I promise you, you'll learn something from it. Now, guys, what happened yesterday in Minnesota may happen in other churches around this country. It's a sad day. Those people that interrupted that church service, I don't care what church it was a Baptist church. I don't care what it was illegal. Do not storm into a church and disrupt the service. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to be held accountable in this life for what you do. You're also going to be held accountable after this life is over as well. God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. You interrupt a church service, interrupt what God is trying to speak from his servants to all the rest of us, you're going to be held accountable. You will be held accountable. Don't do it. Don't do it. There are those of us that are police officers. There are those of us that are former police officers. There are those of us that are security. We have been trained to protect our churches. We have been trained to protect our churches. You storm into a church, you're going to be held accountable. You will be held accountable. Like I said, a lot of these churches have people in the church. I am very surprised that that Baptist church didn't have people there. Off-duty or on-duty police. On-duty or off-duty security. They're there for a reason. You interrupt a church service, you will be held accountable. Be aware of that. Anybody watching this channel is going to find out. I'm going to tell you point blank. That's a thing to have. Security in your churches. If you don't have security in your church, ask your pastor, ask your bishop, ask your reverend, why not? Why not? Kitty Haven says in the chat, me too, all the churches here have armed security. Yes, guess what? When I first moved here nearly 5 years ago, the first thing they saw was I was a former cop. I was asked to be part of my church's security team, which I am. There are former federal officers, like I am. There are former sheriff's deputies, former police officers. There are police officers that are off duty in my church and in other churches around this country. If you storm in the church and start a problem, pose a problem to safety, you will be dealt with. And you might be dealt with very harshly. Be aware of that. You will not be allowed to do this. I promise you, you will not be allowed to interrupt a church service ever. You will be held accountable. May God bless us all. May God bless us with a spirit of discernment to help our families and help ourselves and to help prevent these incidents from happening. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. Guys, we love you. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night. Be safe out there. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. See you soon. God bless.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better, bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.